What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. And this is a recap video, right? We are going to be talking about TTop's no cut event. Didn't get to watch day one, the cook up. I was a bit busy. On top of that, the stream, it was supposed to be streamed to YouTube, some of the battles didn't end up happening. So I've heard word of what some of the results were. I feel like it's a little irresponsible to talk about it, you know what I'm saying, without seeing the battles. Hopefully they turn around and drop quick. Heard Fonz got crazy, heard Wusa got crazy, heard Gotti and Dot is exactly what the hell I thought Gotti and Dot was going to be. But then you get to day two, right? This is the card that everybody's looking for. And this one, I have some negative emotions towards this one, man. You know what I'm saying? From kind of how the event was ran, and we're going to talk about some of the raps too. We're going to talk about one particular rapper that's going to forever be upset with me and really be upset with himself because he doesn't get the love from this game that he wishes and dreams that he did. But we'll talk about that when we get to that, right? So we're going to start from the beginning of the night before the battles with about a 2-hour plus delay. And this is going to affect the event later on, and it's just not acceptable. And I know that there's a lot of people, and this is T-Top's first event, you know what I'm saying, and give him grace and this, and listen, I've never ran an event, I'm sure it's difficult as hell, right? But if we're going to sell products to the consumer, we have to stop acting. Like in battle rap, this doesn't just go for T-Top, but he is going to be, this is the topic, his event, right? 2-hour plus delays from the start time isn't like acceptable anywhere on earth. It's not acceptable anywhere on earth, any other sport, any other service. Think about if you go to see an artist's concert and there's a 2-hour plus delay. It happens, you know what I'm saying? People walk out, usually gets canceled. Now if it does happen, people will be like, well, I'm at the concert now, it is what it is. But it sucks the energy out of the night later. Early in the event, it takes the energy out. It puts more pressure on that first battle to be great because everybody's been waiting an extra 120 plus minutes of what they were supposed to. And this event, we have another delay that's going to happen before the main event that we're going to talk about. I got up early to watch the main event this morning because I went to bed before Twork and Tay Roc came on because they had about a 2-hour delay between their battle when they came on. I guess we'll talk about that later. But absolutely ridiculous. That's 4 hours of nothing in the event. That's 4 hours of event time. That's literally nothing. So 2-hour delay, you end up starting late. So first battle we got is Charlie Clips versus KCJ. Return to KCJ, hasn't battled in a while, versus Charlie Clips. And first round of the battle, KCJ is okay. She's okay. It's not crazy, you know what I'm saying? She had a couple bars that people were noticing were kind of said before. She had as soon as he pulls up comes to Dallas, I pull something, Anthony Davis. It sounds a lot like Rosenberg's pull something, Anthony Davis bar, right? She had a couple other bars like that too that were punches, but they just weren't like heavy, little jabs, you know what I'm saying? Clips has a good first, and that's usually a determiner, is that people are like, oh, well, let's see what Clips we get today. However, there's a lot of times that Clips shows up with a good first and without the rest of the ammunition, right? So he had a couple rebuttals early to some things that she was saying. He had a Bad Newz haymaker, which we'll talk about Bad Newz in a little bit, but of course he had the first bar of the night, snitch Bad Newz bar that ended his round with a bomb. He also had the making a band scheme. I thought was pretty good. I thought the making a band, so I had Clips up 1-0. I'm like, okay, it's a decent start, right? Then we get into the second. KCJ's second is light, and to be real with you, not only is this just a light performance by KCJ standards, like, just not all that good, you know what I'm saying? Especially on the return. And this is like the bigger opponent that she has in her return. She's got J Love, she's definitely going to be better for J Love because this is about as weak as Casey's going to get, right? So she's going to be better for that battle on Apollo. But I thought, like Clips on the return, we know Clips can kill footage, but at least she would be good. I can't really say that for this performance. Then Clips goes in the second. And you know what I'm saying? The chuckling starts. Mr. Chuckles, he's here, ladies and gentlemen. Freestyles through his whole second. It's not good. It's just bad. Terrible. Terrible. So just awful. Awful second from Charlie. Gives away the second to Casey. Probably could have won, you know what I'm saying? Gives it away. You get to the third round of the battle. I'd say this is probably Casey's best round in comparison. Once again, not that crazy. She had a solar panel, the energy from your son. You just had a son you're supposed to try. A whole angle. Everyone's got a third round angle of Clips about how he doesn't try while he's really not trying right in front of her. And then he kind of freestyles around in the third. KCJ wins this one 2-1 kind of by default. It's not great. Short rounds too. We're going to talk about that the whole event. We also have Clips clips talking about TTop, I'm only doing this because you didn't send me my money. TTop hit me with the PayPal. I think TTop got this for the do it for the culture deals. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of performances you got. Do it for the culture performances in terms of round length, in terms of effort. And Clips is always a great example of that when he doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care even when he gets paid probably the correct amount or you know what I'm saying, should be given his correct time and effort. But it was just bad. And then from there, second battle is Geechee Gotti versus Dan Rue. I do not know. I think it was Marco Mazzi, I think his name was. I don't know. Bad. We're not even going to do it along with this one. Guy was calling the crowd gay about a round in and cutting his round 40 seconds in, getting no love. Geechee was in, what did someone say? Someone said Geechee was in power saving mode. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Didn't care much, and he still won 3-0. I mean, the guy basically crumbled under whatever little pressure there was for the battle. Geechee was also saying that he did T-Top, I need my money. So I don't know what the hell was going on in terms of, and Geechee and Clips are known to do, I'd say he's West Coast Clips sometimes, right? So they're known to sometimes not give effort, but there is audible, where is my money? You know what I'm saying? So it makes me question, they even have their back end before they performed, were they doing this just out of a favor to T-Top? So far we're here, we got KCJ 2-1, bad battle. We got Geechee 3-0 over just anybody in a horrific battle, starting out 2 hours late with a horrific 0-for-2. So next battle up is Snake and Rum Nitty. I'll tell you what, this isn't the craziest version of either, but considering what we started with, their first rounds felt a little bit like, oh my, we're returning to civilization. Like, we're getting back a little bit, right? So the first round starts on Snake Eyes. I think he has a decent first. Not really haymaker heavy, but just kind of like jabs. You know what I'm saying? He had the toy. It's like Toy Story. If you hear about with Snake, about Snake in the boot, you know, there's a snake in my boot. So he had like kind of the Woody Toy Story bar was cool. He also had the Marvin the Martian. If you hear about the alien with the strap, like he had a bunch of cool little flips like that, name flips like that. And then Nitty goes in the first. I just think there's a different level of writing. I think the Wheel of Fortune haymaker, it's really the only haymaker from either in the first. It's like a great example of it. The spinning for I, and then brought it back talking about the vowels. Like, I thought that whole shit was crazy. He's kind of like bombing a bit all through his first, so I just thought he had a better first for the most part. I pretty comfortably had him there. Now the second is where it's interesting. I'm not mad at anyone giving Snake Eyes the second round of the battle. I had to flip my pillow twice just to capture a dream. That was actually super fire. A couple other fire bars in there. I thought the first half of his second was like, he was barking on him. It was really good. Second half of his second tails off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And Nitty has a shorter round in the seconds. Like I said, I'm not mad at anyone giving Snake that round. I even say most people I see giving Snake that round. But Nitty, even with that less time, like damn near wrapped like a little over a minute, I thought he had the rattlesnake. You look rattled snake, but it won't be hard to shake back. I thought that was clever. And then he had you was trying to be Miss Pac-Man until you found out she was eating all the dots, which was damn near bar of the battle. So I still edged Nitty the second round of the battle. Maybe that's just a preference. I like good writing. You know what I'm saying? I thought, but if you called it 1-1, I'm not mad at that whatsoever. And then you had the third round, clearest round of the battle, in my opinion. Nitty just kind of ran off on him. It's kind of inverse. Nitty usually has the short third. In this battle, he had the short second. Kind of his best round is his third round. And he just punched Snake's head off. So I called it Nitty Gentleman's 30. I'm not mad at anyone. Nitty 2-1 with Snake in the second. I thought he did enough, you know, his little warrior fight back routine. But now we're going to talk about it. You know, Mad Eye Moody, bring yourself here, man. You know what I'm saying? Glow by. I'm so tired of you bitching and moaning when I have you losing a battle, when most of the culture ends up having you losing battles. And I know you get all gassed up because now you get these love and YouTube comments, but it's so funny because you're Mr. I speak for the streets, I'm outside for the people, but they're only loving you on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's these YouTube little comments that go for you, but meanwhile, you don't get this reception when people are actually voting on the battles. You don't get this reception from in the building, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even call him out his name or do nothing. I even said he was decent in the battle, and I just had him losing. And what does he do? He does the whole suck my dick and I fucking hate you, which he's done multiple times, and it's just kind of whatever, because he always says he hates me, but then he's always right under my comments like my number one fan. You know what I'm saying? Always has something to say about me. Always clearly is tapped in to my opinion. And I just think you're not really mad at me. You're mad that most of these people agree with me. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these takes, and it's that nobody loves you the way that you love you. You talk about I'm top tier, I'm box office. You're just loud, and that's why you're on over a decade into the game begging for respect, begging for attention, you're begging Swamp, who damn near came in the game, popped off in the game after you. You know what I'm saying? You were here before Swamp when you were battling Ride of Fire PG. I have been giving Snake props when Snake deserved props 10 years ago. People came in after the game and lapped you, and you just wish that was you. So you bitch and moan all day, and you blame everyone but yourself because you are a loser. Oh my God, you are a loser. And it's so unnecessary to talk about what you're going to do to me. We've seen each other. It's not even like the J2 situation. Me and J2 actually never really crossed paths like that. If he's got his grievances to air with me, he'll air his grievances with me. I saw you in Atlanta before you battled J2, and it was smiles and, ooh, J Small, look, I'm about to rock the stage tonight because I had you winning that battle. So when I got you winning, or I'm telling you what you want to hear, I'm someone that you love to hear from. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got the analyst on your side. But the second I got you losing, then after the battle with J2, I predicted you to win. You lost. You were bitching at everyone, even Beloved, man. You were upset with Lux. Lux had J2 win, and you said, oh, Beloved, are you going to do that to Harlem? Your city doesn't even back you like that. Your borough doesn't even back you like that because all you do is whine, all right? So Apollo is coming up, and what you need to do is start promoing because that's what they paid you for. They paid you to just run your mouth, you know what I'm saying, and promo the event. So go be the good opener that you are, because you're an opener. So go open that card for the real talent to go and steal the show, and stop crying when I have you losing a battle. You know what I'm saying? Because all these people got you losing a battle. I don't hear this same amount of crying. You start talking like in riddles, like a fucking wide receiver. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the enemy is close, shakes your hand and holds a knife. You know what I'm saying? All philosophical. With me, you got so much to say. Go prepare for another battle where they can be like, oh Snake, do the little funny promo thing that you do, and then get off stage so the real rappers can rap. Oh my God, you fucking crybaby. And with that being said, then get to ENess versus Tay Roc, which I gotta say, my apologies to ENess on this one, man, because I have been talking very confidently on how Roc would smoke this battle. I thought this was a terrible matchup for Ness. I thought this was a perfect opportunity for Roc to have a similar performance like he did in his Reed Dollaz performance. But Roc was actually fire in this battle, and ENess was very fire too. And they ended up having the clear battle of the night. You know what I'm saying? Which is not something I expected to say about this battle. But humongous props to ENess in this one. It starts right in the first round. ENess actually went first too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes when you have this kind of like shocking, like it's a closer battle than usual, it's with someone going second in the battle to kind of capture that secondary momentum. But ENess was cooking off rip. And of course, I think the building was almost built for him in terms of that energy that he's able to give, that entertainment and signature pockets. But it's the content that I was worried about, but it's the content that went with it that I think was the difference for ENess here. He was angling off rip. He had a lot of lady caution bars, which we'll talk about later in the battle. I thought he might have even overdid it a little bit, but in the first round, he was cooking with it. He was bar for barring. He had the wordplay. I wish I had more quotables. It's really a battle that I will need a second watch to give you like a definitive winner on it, because it's that close. But he set the tone early, and then Roc goes, and Roc has like, you know, punch heavy round. He gets into his pockets as well, but ENess had a better first. Like, I had ENess up 1-0, and that's in front of like a pretty formidable Roc round, right? So then we get back in the second. ENess is bombing to start the second. Oh, what do you have? The Flamin' Hot Cheetos bar in the first? Like, that's a good example of just like Ness was cooking, you know what I'm saying? Then he gets the second. He's bombing on him again. So he's got the energy, the flows, the rap pockets. If Ness can rap like this every battle, that would be like the legend looking like the legend. I feel like every battle, the content isn't here like this. And, you know, let it be a Tay Roc battle, obviously, that brings the best out of him. But he was 2 rounds in. I got no complaints about Ness. And I could even debate his second round was better than his first. But in classic Roc fashion, I feel like he kind of got punched in the mouth in that first round, and then he woke up with the energy in the second, and Roc was just cooking in the second. This is like your typical second round Roc response round. So as good as Ness was better in the second than the first. I just thought Roc's best round was the second. He reached the highest peak, and in my opinion, probably the round of the battle. So I had it 1-1. Pretty contested, but Ness in the first, Roc in the second. Then you get to the third round of the battle, and it is so close. They both technically take a step down, but I still think they both had fire rounds. Particularly Roc started slow and then ended heavy in the second, while I think Ness started heavy again in the third. Kind of took a couple steps back. He went back to the caution well again for about the third round, and at that point, it caused a little bit of dry spots because just caution this, caution that. Your girls will mutt this, your girls will mutt that. it got a little bit much, but there's still heavy material in there where I'm not mad at anyone giving Ness the battle 2-1. There's beyond like I'd say that damn near half of the people I've talked to, if not a little bit more, have called it Ness first and third. Super respectable call. Thought Roc had a little bit more in that third round, a little more variety with the content, right? I personally had Roc edging the battle 2-1 comfortably in the second, even though Ness's second was still fire, and then by like a razor's edge in the third. That's why I say if there's any battle worth the rewatch on a card that doesn't have many battles worth the rewatch, you know what I'm saying? I really liked this battle. I'd almost say it's like I would say it saved the night. I don't think you could say anything saved the night. I think that this is just not a very good card. But I think E-Ness and Tay Roc is a huge positive where they gave TTop more than his money's worth for this one. Like I said, anyone Ness first and third, I'm not mad. I got to apologize to E-Ness. I thought you were going to get cooked. I talk crazy. And there is a large amount of people, you know what I'm saying that Ness won the battle. I personally had Roc 2-1, but I could even feel different. It's battle. If I'm going to rewatch any battle on this card, probably be that one. I might even feel a little different because the third, if I do a little bit of detailed breakdown, I might fuck around and have Ness in the third, man. So really great performance from both of them. Kind of like an upset type of scenario for Ness. And the one battle on this card that I would genuinely say was really good. So we had two stinkers. We had a cool battle with Snake and Rum. And then you had a really good battle here with E-Ness versus Tay Roc. But then you go right ahead from there. So that was supposed to be my body of the night. Ended up as battle of the night. My battle of the night going in was Coffee Brown versus Swamp. And it's bad. It's bad. It's lopsided. Probably the most lopsided battle of the night. The crowd completely messed with both Swamp and Coffee. I feel like Coffee did a lot of the similar things she did in the Suge battle where she's like, oh, so y'all ain't gonna cheer? Hey, y'all fuck out of here. But man, Swamp. And he said it, I think, himself, that the crowd affected him. He pulled up with Nathan, and I'm not talking about Av. He pulled up with not a goddamn thing. He had about 3 60-second rounds to keep it a stack, and it's clear that like the second the crowd just like wasn't messing with them, he kind of reacted the way Geechee's opponent earlier in the night did. His first is like a minute long. He just cuts it. Coffee is a good first, and the crowd in general, this is where the crowd, like, people have complaints, the crowd was not good. Crowd was not good for this event, but this battle especially, they were not engaged. And I think Coffee even had a decent first round. I don't think it's crazy as Coffee, and I'm going to say this a lot through the card. I don't think it was the craziest this. It wasn't the best version of this, because that's the truth of the matter, but I think Coffee was still respectable, even without the reaction. Her material was pretty decent. She was up 1-0 clear. You get to the second round. Short second round from Swamp again. I mean, he's just giving away rounds. He's really not even fighting back for the most part. He landed a bar or two and pause, thinking it should have landed, and when it didn't, very quickly he was out of there. Even third round of the battle, once again, Coffee's beating him in quality, angling, like all-around ability, bars. Like, she's doing a bit more, even not at her best, while he's at his worst. And she just has more, because she's wrapping a full round compared to someone that keeps cutting their round short. Coffee Brown, 3-0. I had heard rumors that Marv 1 had beat Swamp, and that Swamp had a similar performance to this when he battled Marv. Nobody's gotten to see the battle yet, you know what I'm saying? But it's seeing a performance like this, it's not crazy to think that happened either, especially from someone that kind of brings, like, stuff every battle like Marv that's formidable in his own right. But Coffee 3-0, one of the worst battles of the night, which is saying something. Even though she was decent, the crowd is going to make the footage awkward, but you got to give her credit. She walks away with a clear W over Swamp, and this looks much more like Swamp versus KCJ than Swamp versus Miss Hustle. And overall, just a really nasty L for Swamp, and just right back into the abyss with this battle. We get to the final two battles of the night. Then there's the battle that everybody's waiting for. Everybody wants to talk about. Av versus Bad Newz, right? So Bad Newz goes in the first, and of course, he's got the snitch title on him. You know what I'm saying? He's got the paperwork out, so he's going to try to counter-write out of it. And his claim, basically, for the counter-writing is that, why do we trust the police? They tweaked the paperwork. They done, it's a conspiracy. They done put this on me that didn't actually happen. Like it's a government attempt, you know what I'm saying, to get Bad Newz to look this way, and it did not work in the room whatsoever. It's not working for me here. I didn't get a big you know what I'm saying, moment from it. And he spends a lot of time on that before he gets into his actual content. I'll tell you what, crowd wasn't giving it up for Bad Newz at all. I think one guy cheered for one thing in the second. but they were absolutely not trying to hear a goddamn thing Bad Newz said. So I thought the counter writing was a little all over the place. He's never been a strategic writer. This isn't an angler. This isn't some breakdown surgical type of guy. He's a blunt force battle rapper. It's punches. It's straight street shit. So when he had to get into this more strategic diffusing bag, it didn't go over well. I just didn't think it worked. And then Av goes in the first, and Av starts the first pretty light. I also feel like the energy, it's almost like the presence of Bad Newz made no one want to cheer for the battle. And Av ends up getting into the angle, you know what I'm saying, halfway through his first. He had some good stuff. GD stands for good details. The Biggie scheme into the Who Shot Ya bar, which was perfect, hit like a haymaker. Honestly, was waiting for a bar like that. And Av won the first round, but I do think he should have started with the angle. I think it is like, if you're going to do the angle, there's no need to like punch with it and then midway get through it. You start right with it, especially since he started right with his counter writing, and the people are going to want to hear like a direct response. I thought he executed the angle well once he got to it, but I kind of agree with some people strategically, like he didn't execute it great either. And there's also, now there's like this pressure for some reason where, as they always do in battle rap, instead of people just getting at Bad Newz, the pressure becomes, oh, Av, well, you better execute. All I ever heard is, imagine the Bad Newz won, imagine the Bad Newz won. I feel like you're almost going to see people like, oh, Bad Newz almost won the first. Nobody can quote you anything goddamn Bad Newz said in his first, but it's like, people just want to see the funniest thing possible happen, so they don't even listen to the content at this point. They're just trying to make a storyline out of something. So Av was up 1-0. It isn't the craziest round, but it is a clear round. You get to the second round, Bad Newz is angling, and he has this angle about when Verb had made that vague comment, and using to back up your story, Verb said it. First of all, kind of telling. You're kind of telling once again. But more so, that's not the guy you want backing you up at a time like this. Not the guy who tagged Hitman's employer and the police and was like, help, I'm a civilian. You know what I'm saying? So that none of that optically is helping you. Strategically isn't great. Basically was kind of accused of Av being a pedophile. It wasn't hitting. And this is guy's not much of a counter writer, damn sure isn't much of an angler, and it ended up for an awkward. This battle's awkward. It's another bad battle. Who would have thought it? Who would have thunk? You know what I'm saying? Av, for the most part, just kind of runs ahead, wins in the second as well, but not even like too much to talk about from Av's round. I like the Jehovah Witness bar from him, send you up and make Jehovah a witness, but it's not even like it's the craziest Av, which he said himself, and probably has to do with the event starting 2+ hours late. We're getting late into the night. It's almost like people were waiting just not to cheer for Bad Newz. It creates energy weird on the other side because Av isn't almost just like bombing his life away. So he's up 2-0, and then you get to the third round of the battle, and Av just wins the third round. There's really not even anything for me to quote on either side in the third. They just kind of were like trying to get through the end of the battle. So it's not even the craziest Av. I think he even said he hated the battle. It's weird energy. It's too late in the night because the event hasn't been ran smoothly. And it's just weird. So this battle everyone was looking forward to, it was nothing special. It's what you expected. And on top of that, Bad Newz, it's not even like I could say, oh, you know, because of the situation, they weren't cheering, but he was fired. This is your classic stink it up for 3 rounds, Bad Newz, adding bad strategy and bad angling to it. So I had Av winning the battle 3-0, but like I said, not even that crazy of an Av either, and a battle that really could have been a highlight for Av, and I will agree, could have been a viral moment, a highlight, a big K, Adi Boom in a sense. He just kind of walked away with the win, but it's really nothing special for him, and it's kind of some of the weaker footage that he's put out recently either, which is partially because of him, more so because of Bad Newz, then even more so because of the way the event was ran. And then there is an 1.5-hour delay between this battle and Twork and Rex. So we are 2 hours late. We've gotten through all these battles, and then there's another 1.5-hour delay. Keep in mind, oh my God, TTop was playing that music video with Wyclef over and over. I don't got many to go, over and over and over. No commentary for the event. It's supposed to be DNA and Henny Man, no commentary until Henny Man and Cortez pop up to do commentary before Twork and Rex. And they talk for 40 minutes. So we finally get commentary, but it's just because of this long delay. Then they go away. They just stop doing commentary, and they play No Cut again. They play over and over and over again as we wait forever. I went to bed. I watched the battle this morning, but I did not watch it live because I cut an 1.5 hours. That's an 1.5 hours between the main event and Av and Bad Newz. That's 2+ hours before the event. 3.5 to 4 hours of nothingness in the event. There's probably more nothingness than there is time wrapped during the event. It's like the All-Star game, where's all the commercials and extra stuff. Where's the basketball? You know what I mean? Bad stuff. They were doing the best they could. They were saying Clips. I think Cortez said he heard Clips' performance of the night. Like, what are we doing here? And then finally, I guess, which I watched early today, Twork versus Rex happens. And then you got Twork versus Rex, which overall was decent, one of the better ones. Once again, not the craziest, probably not worth a 2-hour wait, especially on the shorter round side. I think Rex competes, which I expected. And this is kind of how I called it, where I'm like, if Twork isn't the craziest version, Rex is good, and then there's shorter rounds. There is a world where this would be close. I'm not mad at anyone that's giving Rex the first round of the battle. It's probably the round I would debate for him. I think Twork, even though Rex was struggling with some breath control there, the whole, if you strapped in, that just means you're buckled up. But I think it's more of like the build-up bombs. Like, if you really look at the content, I think Twork was a bit better in the second. I edged him the second, and I pretty clearly had him winning the third round of the battle. So I had it Twork 2-1, second and third. And I almost want to say it's like half debatable, because there's going to be people that might give Rex the second, might give Rex the first. But overall, I just think content-wise, Twork was a bit better. I still think it was a pretty, I think it was a decent performance from both. Like, I don't have too much bad to say about either, besides the fact that apparently Rex is the reason that there was like an hour and a half delay getting back to the venue or whatever it was. So that's kind of what the main event turned out to be. But overall, I'd say that Roc and E-Ness was battle of the night. Twork and Ness was decent, maybe a little bit more decent than Nitty and Snake, which was cool. The Nav and Bad Newz, not very good. You have Coffee and Swamp, not very good. You have the first two battle, KCJ and Charlie Clips and Geechee versus whoever Geechee was battling, not really all that good. So overall, man, it's not a great event. The way it was ran in terms of timing was non-advantageous towards anyone that was viewing it, which is going to cause a lot of frustration. I'm sure that made the building a bit restless, which I heard, which in turn is going to make the footage tougher because the crowd is not engaged during the battles. The rappers are less engaged with the crowd, less engaged. And overall, it is a bit of a goddamn mess. You know what I'm saying? I do applaud TTop for trying to put a card out there. He still got a little bit to walk away with, right? Like E-Ness and Roc is I'm sure, like the thing that kind of sticks out. If they had anything good on day one, I heard they might add some good stuff on day one, so if they did, it's not like he's walking away with nothing. But overall, maybe it's just the pains, and if he does plan on throwing a second event, there's just got to be a lot better in terms of the energy, in terms of the way it's ran, because it got mundane. Kind of like there was points at this battle where it felt like standing. You got the battlers saying, hurry up and get this battle over with, I'm hating this. That's not the energy you want from your talents on your card. It was very like, I'm in the line waiting at the DMV energy. Nobody wants that when they're going to an event for fun. Especially as like a viewer, at least from here. So there's so many battles that could have been better. There's still some guys that showed out and did decent, but overall, I mean, you're probably going to see the same thing from other people talking about this card, more in the 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 direction in terms of ranking and rating, and that might be a little bit generous to some people, because I can't say I enjoyed this event very much. And that is my full thoughts here, man, on TTop's no-cut card. I'm hoping that if he does continue, I think that there is kind of this, E-Ness gives a clip of like what this grittier setting can add to a battle, right, and the energy. So if he does continue, I hope that he can improve in some things, and I hope that at the very least there was good turnout for him financially, because even with it being a bad card, I know that what it would probably mean, how hard putting an event together is. Even if the event doesn't go the way it's supposed to, that doesn't mean he didn't work to put it together. So I hope it doesn't tank him. You know what I'm saying? I hope he saw success from this and at least was able to break even, if not see a little bit of a turnout. I know they were able to sell the building out as well. Hope the pay-per-view performed well. You know what I'm saying? It got my buy. But overall, just not a very good one, you know what I'm saying? So now, of course, want to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section down below. What was some of your biggest takeaways from the card? Obviously, I think Roc and E-Ness, everyone knows, is the best thing here. So if you want to comment on that, or any performance you might have thought was positive, anything you disagree with me on any of the performances, please let me know. And of course, if you share some of the same gripes, please let me know what you think they could improve on, or what kind of maybe made it not a great card for you at home as well, if not in the building, man. But of course, that is my recap here for TTop's no-cut card. As the battles drop, I'm probably going to recap Fonz and Bilovic drops drops. You know what I'm saying? If it drops individually, there's still a couple things that I want to see to happen on day one. But we'll get there when we get there. And next stop is, I believe, Cody is tomorrow. Is going to be airing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So catch that, man, and we'll be having a conversation afterwards. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.